Hello and welcome back. This week you're getting this a little bit early. We're going to try and put out a couple extra content this week, including one of the finals videos from last year. And we're going to try and put out an extra video. But schedule gets demanding. We'll see how it works. Alright, we're going to start off with a pretty weird play. A couple things we want to look at as we get into this play. First of all, referees, make sure you're already set in a position before you get it ready for play, and we want to make sure that we're set and everything. We don't want to get happy feet back there, set and ready to officiate. So we'll let this play out, and then we'll break it down piece by piece. All right. So first things first, like I said, we mentioned that about being set. So we have a punter muffs the punt, and then he goes up and tries to kick it. Well, he successfully kicks it. A couple of things here. Don't want to get too much into judgment calls, whether or not this is roughing the kicker or not. I will say a couple of things to consider when you're looking at whether or not this is roughing is that, does the defender reasonably think that the ball is going to get punted? And anytime the ball is muffed, especially when it gets kind of bumbled around here, we give a little more leeway to the defender on what they're trying to do. Now, having said that, I kind of, take it the same way I take if the defensive back, lays out a receiver across the middle or something. If they wrap up, it makes our job a lot easier. If they don't wrap up, then we got a judgment call to make. And here is a little excessive maybe on the hit. We could argue it's open hands, so it's really not that unnecessary. You could also argue he hits him with the shoulder first and then kind of extends the hands. Either way, the white hat, he's right there. He's looking at it. You could go either way here. I could see it being supported either way, whether you got roughing or whether you let it go. Like I said, a couple of things you would just consider in making that call. Does the defender reasonably believe that the punter is going to punt it, or does he think it's going to be kicked away? And then the force of the hit, is he, what's he doing? Is he wrapping up? Is he trying to hurt him? Whatnot. All right, so something else to look at in this particular play. So the punt's off cleanly. It's not tipped or anything. And then it is caught beyond the expanded neutral zone by a K player. So we see we're kicking off where the snap is from the 21. It's fielded here at the 25. This is beyond the expanded neutral zone. The play should be blown dead immediately right now. K cannot advance this. Technically, it's first touching. So, and if there's a receiver in the area, and he's blocked for any way or interfered in any way, you could consider KCI. I don't think we have KCI in this particular play. But you definitely have K. It's first touching, and then since they basically possess it and catch it, then we would blow the ball dead immediately. And R would get the ball right there, 1st and 10. Because this is, like I said, it's beyond the expanded neutral zone. K cannot catch this and take off with it. All right, wacky play here. First things first, umpires. Only one person can have their foot on this line. And you can see here, even though we don't have a clear line through the logo, which they're supposed to, you do see a faint black something right there. But even so, you can use your common sense and judgment here. And knowing that he's not in correct position here. Easy way to do this is you see him right here. So you're getting in your spot. Once you get here, do not immediately check down the line unless, if you're here, if you can see it here, you're supposed to be, making sure they're good. All right. Give them a look. Maybe don't be so quick to get to the sideline. But once you get back to the sideline, just give a glance down this line right here. And then if you see him touching that line, go ahead and ask him to scoot up. Remember on kickoffs, we try to start a kickoff as legal as can possibly be. So when you see that he's lined up improperly, try to fix it before you get the signal. If you've already given the signal, referee blows it in, kicker starts his approach, it is a dead ball foul. If the kicker starts his approach, and it's right there, it's a dead ball, pre-snap foul, blow it dead, back him up 5 yards, and we're good. But really, you would want to look down the line and before you even get the ready and make sure everyone's good, because this is way too much. All right, so there's that. Second, we have an attempted onside kick. All right, so a couple of things on this. The ruling on the field was first touching. Remember, first touching, we're going to throw a beanbag. We're not going to throw a flag. And we're going to put the beanbag where the first touching occurred. Because remember that first, we go by the beanbag on first touching. So if K touches that ball before it goes 10 yards, we need the beanbag at the spot that they touched it. Because that is a spot we could potentially go to. So that's first thing first on that one. The second thing is, remember, K cannot initiate a block. And you see this a lot. These teams try this little dribble kick, which is what this is. It's just a little dribble kick. You could argue it's a pop-up kick. I would not call this a pop-up kick. This is not the intent of a pop-up kick. This is what we call a dribble kick. Just poorly executed. It's supposed to almost literally dribble. He just kicked it wrong. But you see here, K initiates a block on R before the ball goes 10 yards. Right here, he's trying to shield him. But if you're trying to shield it, once you make contact, it's no longer a shield. It is a block. And then you see another K player come in here and straight up block him. So this is actually a foul. So this is where we would, if you're actually going to throw the flag, which here, you would have a foul here on K. It's a legal block. That's a 10-yard foul. 10-yard penalty. Basically, either way, there's no way K keeps this ball. You're going to have first touching by K, or you're going to have this illegal block. So, yeah. That's that play. That's a tough one. As far as, whether or not the ball touched R first or whether it touched K, it's hard to tell. I mean, we ran this back over and over, and we can't figure it out. But in the end, it doesn't really matter because K blocked illegally first. So. All right, so when we talk about an eligible downfield, it's important to note, unlike a lot of fouls that we talk about, it's not so much about impact on the play and all that stuff. We need to be consistent on an eligible downfield, because it is, we already give leeway in that we give 3 yards. It is a hard 3 yards. All right, if they're on that 3-yard line, it is a foul. We need to be consistent in it. If there's a forward pass beyond the expanded neutral zone, and there's a lineman downfield, we need to call it. On this particular play, you're gonna have, now it is when the ball leaves quarterback or the passer's hand. So right here we snapped it from the 21. We got 2 players, the center right there at the 3, and then this guy number 56. He is he's 4 yards downfield. You could argue that number 56, he kind of engaged the block and he slid off. Can't make that argument for the center. And either way, it is the lineman's responsibility to stay outside of that 3 yards. Another note on this play, this inside receiver right here, never really does a route. All right. This is offensive pass interference. So when we're adjudicating offensive pass interference, a couple of things we look at. Is he trying to run a route or is he trying to block? In this category of OPI. And here it's hard for me to justify that he's trying to run a route. It looks like he kind of breaks down and blocks him. He's blocking him like it's a run play. And then he takes him down. So that should be OPI. It's hard for me to justify that he's trying to run a route. It doesn't really look like he's trying to shed that block and get on his route. And that's kind of what you're looking for when you're judging OPI and blocking downfield specifically. Is the receiver trying to run a route, or is he straight up blocking the player? Give him the benefit of a doubt. Looks like he's trying to run a route. Give him that benefit. This situation, I don't see any attempt to run a route. So I would have OPI on that. All right, another roughing play. Roughing running into. This one, get a better view here. As much as I would love to throw some slack at the punters and protect them, this one, me as a whole, is just allowed nothing. All right, the defender's trying to slow down. He's trying to avoid the contact. It's not much of a bump. The punter's not in any risk. So this is just allowed nothing. Give your end zone angle. Yeah. And, it wasn't tipped. That's the thing, too. I mean, if he tips it, you really got nothing. This was not tipped. Just kind of a shank. I look another punt play on this one. Actually, let's go. End zone view might be better. All right. In a crew of 6, field judge, remember we are 5 yards behind the returner and 9 yards wide. So a lot of times we will be on the field in a scrimmage kick. But unlike in a crew of 7 when you're running back judge, remember we tell you to let that returner pass in front of you. That is not the case in a crew of 6 when you're running side judge. Crew of 6 running side judge, the field judge is going to widen out if the returner takes him that way. Because remember, when the returner catches it, starts working his way upfield, we're going to try and work our way to the sideline anyway. So in this play, the depth here is good. 5 yards, 9 yards wide, everything's good there. It's just when he starts coming, we want to move with him. And, we should be on the sideline already when he makes this catch. So remember, field judge, crew of 6, we're going to widen out with him. Do not run it like a crew of 7 back judge and let him cross in front of you. Widen out with him and let him, Here's another play. This is no call for KCI, and I like the call. There is contact, but he catches it, so there's no foul here. If the punter or the returner had dropped it or never got to the ball because you ran into this player, different story. We're gonna flag that for KCI. This situation, should the defender have gotten out of the way? Yes, the defender needs to get out of the way, especially on a fair catch. But essentially, it's literally no harm, no foul. He still catches it. We're not going to award that as a KCI. So it's just an award of fair catch, no foul. He caught it. Spot the ball and let's move on. Also, crew of 6 reminder. We talked about this a little bit last week. Field judge, side judge, we're going to stay on the goal line until the end line is threatened. Even an overthrow, an obvious overthrow like this, we're still going to come off the goal line. If for nothing else than aesthetics sake. But still, because even an overthrow like this, there's still a threat to the goal line. So just go ahead and come off the goal line. Both deep should be off the goal line in this instance. And just, like I said, even if it's an obvious overthrow, it's still a threat to the goal line. So we will still come off. And it puts you in the habit of moving downfield when there's a threat to the goal line. Or threat to the end line, my bad. End line is threatened, we're going to move off the goal line. Like I said, even if it's an obvious overthrow. Alright, last couple of plays to look at. We're going to look at the tight end here. Question comes up, is tight end in the free blocking zone to where they can block below the waist? It depends on the splits. Normal splits, usually that tight end is going to be in there. And here, you can see it better on the tight view. These are tight splits, so that tight end is going to be inside the free blocking zone. So as long as it's immediate at the snap, he can go low. So the other question is, what defender can he go low on? Line up right there. Alright, so he can go low on a guy on his left gap. He can go low on a guy head up on him. He can go low on a guy in this gap. Can he go low on a guy head up on the guy next to him? If he can do it within 2 steps. Remember, it's within 2 steps. So it has to be immediate. If it's within 2 steps, he can do it. Tight splits like this, he can probably reach that guy within 2 steps. Normal splits, it gets a little iffy. But if they can do it within 2 steps, then we're good. This is legal. See, it's immediate. The guy's lined up in the gap. He's in the free blocking zone. It's immediate. That's perfectly legal. Same thing here. Exact same situation. It's immediate. And look at where he lines up. He's in that gap, so we're good. He may even be head up on the tight end. No. Oh, sorry. I was looking at the wrong guy for a minute. Yeah, in that gap. Perfectly legal. Didn't really get a piece of him there, but still. It's legal play. Alright, that's it for this week. Like I said, I'm trying to roll out a couple more content to you this week. This is early. So, if we don't see you again, good luck Friday, and always stay focused.